When I think of adversity, I think of torrents of rain. I think of dark clouds. I think of things that you don't have any control over, and yet they're coming at you. And you have to make a decision. What do I do? Do I just stand here, or do I move? You know, growing up in the Mississippi Delta, as I did during the era of legal segregation, it was a time that adversity surrounded one's life. It was like torrents of rain that had been coming for generations. And sometimes it seems as if it would never stop. But somewhere along the way, you ask yourself the question, how do I get out of this rain? What do I do? What can I do to make a difference, to bring some sunshine into my life? Into every life, as the song says, some rain must fall. And rain is what people run away from to get out of, but it is also the rain that waters and nurtures those incredible ideas that live within us. I think that adversity is challenging, no question about it, but it also becomes a great teacher as well.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, the man you just saw on camera, his name is Clifton Tolbert. That's Clifton Tolbert. He is the first African-American, the first black man, first black American west of the Mississippi to open a bank. His name's Clifton Tolbert. He also was instrumental in helping to introduce the Stairmaster. He's also, the Stairmaster. He's also a best-selling author. He's also a Pulitzer Prize-nominated best-selling author. He's had countless successes, and the question really is was Clifton Tolbert super lucky? Or did he have a different mindset that allowed him to achieve success on project after project? The question is was Clifton Tolbert born with a silver spoon? No. Or was he able to implement a specific mindset and approach to life? The question is that this man, Clifton Tolbert, who grew up in a time in Glen Allen, Mississippi, where he actually was not allowed to go into the front door of his local bank. This man, Clifton Tolbert, think about this, folks, picture this. He was not allowed to go into the front door of his local bank because of the color of his skin. How did this guy go on to open up his own bank? Well, it's because Clifton Tolbert knew how to overcome distractions, adversity, and the things standing in the way of his goals, his productivity, and success. And so on today's show, it's my heart to teach you specifically how to overcome distractions, adversity, things standing in the way of your goals, productivity, and success. So what you're going to need to do is to get out a piece of paper or some kind of writing device, a journal, and I encourage you to write down these following 4 items. All right, these following 4 rules or 4 principles that you need to have in place if you're going to have massive success. Okay, these 4 systems, these 4 processes. So one is you must use and carry one calendar for your one life. What? Yes, you must use and carry one calendar for your one life. I have yet to meet a successful entrepreneur that does not do this. Second, you must make a to-do list. Yes, you must use and carry one to-do list for your one life. One to-do list for your one life. Third, you have to block out time. You must block out time for the items that you're working on. You must block out. You must block out time for the achievement of your goals. And 4, you must have a printed agenda. You must have a printed agenda. With all of the clients that I work to grow their businesses, I have these items in place. And the reason why I do this is because we have to go back to the same ideas over and over again. So just to hang on some meat on this story and to make this more real, on today's show, you're going to see a client by the name of Ronnie Morales, who we've had the pleasure of serving, and his company is called MoralesBrothers.net. If you want to verify he's real, it's MoralesBrothers.net. And he's had tremendous growth. I believe in the testimonial video at the end of today's show, I believe he shares that he has grown his business by 57% this year. So how has this man been able to achieve 57% growth when most businesses don't have success? Well, one, on a very practical level, he scheduled a free 13-point consultation with my team. Then we laid out an agenda or a plan, a proven plan that he needed to implement to achieve massive success. We laid out a proven plan. It wasn't something wasn't guesswork. I didn't say, well, Ronnie, here are some things that may work. I gave him a proven plan that has been shown to work countless times. And then every single week, we have our weekly coaching meeting at 6:30 in the morning on Saturdays. Every Saturday at 6:30, we get on the phone, and on that phone call, we pull up that agenda, and he blocks out time for the achievement of his goals and to have that meeting. And then he leaves that meeting with action items that he needs to implement. And he has a calendar so he can block out time for the achievement of those items. So today, as I'm recording this particular broadcast and podcast with you, I blocked out time to do this broadcast and podcast. Now, I have other things on my to-do list that I have to get done today that I have blocked out time for it. And many of those things are probably not super exciting to you, but they are the messy middle. They're the things that nobody talks about that need to be done. So this is what's on my to-do list, folks. One is I actually need to reach out to a booking agent. There's a booking agent, and we have an upcoming business workshop, and there's a certain person that I would like to have come to speak to you if you're in attendance. And to do that, I need to reach out to his agent. So that's on my list today. The second thing on my list today is there's a man who was a chaplain and a mentor at my son's school where my son attended. And he called me, so I've blocked out time to give him a call back. Next, one of my good friends one of my clients actually, and a good friend. Most of my clients are good friends, and my good friends are clients. But he actually had a video that he wanted me to edit for him today. So I blocked out time for the editing of his commercial video for his massive podcast. Next, I have to draw up a contract for a win-win relationship with one of my longtime clients that's really growing, and we need to draw up some new agreements so that as he grows, he has these turnkey agreements in place. Next, I needed to call a man by the name of Vidar Lagarde. His company is called Safari Mission. His organization, his nonprofit, is called Safari Mission, and I needed to reach out to him to touch base. And I actually did that. Then I needed to call Andrea, and I've already done that too. All right. I need to buy, this is crazy, I need to buy more red, white, and blue microphones. I think it's very important to have red, white, and blue SM58 microphones, and a couple of them I've had for years, so I need to go ahead and buy some more red, white, and blue SM58 microphones. I need to make sure that the trash in the office got taken out. I need to plan my daughter's pool party. What? Yes, these are all things that are on my list. These are all things that are on my list. Also on my list, I need to finalize the details on a certain property that I'm acquiring. And I have a big list of things I need to do. Specifically, I enumerate my to-do list. So I have 47 items on my to-do list to do today. 47 items on my to-do list. Some of the items I'll do directly. Some of the items I'll delegate to other people, and then I will follow up with them until their brains explode. But again, how do you overcome distractions and adversity and things standing in the way of your goals, productivity, and success? One, you must use and carry one calendar for your one life. Two, you must use and carry one to-do list for your one life. You must block out time for the achievement of your goals, and you must have an agenda. You must have an agenda. Now, to quote the best-selling author of a book called Ultimate Sales Machine, which I could not endorse with any more enthusiasm, I highly recommend the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. It's a great book. And in this book, Chet Holmes, the best-selling author, may he rest in peace, he says, it's not about learning 4,000 moves for your business, but doing basic and important steps 4,000 times. Despite knowing the 5 skill sets we need to master to become good at something, having the greatest secret, still people fail. Why? Well, because they simply won't do it. Implementation, not ideas, is the real key to success. That's true. It's exciting. It's true. It's freeing. It's invigorating. I think for some people it's depressing, but you have to do. It's not about what we know. It's about what we do. To quote Yoda, there is no try. Just do. I think that's what Yoda said. Let me try it again. There is no try. Just do. Yeah, I think that's what Yoda said. No try. Just do. I'm going to cough now. That's a byproduct of doing the Yoda voice. It causes me to cough. Okay. Whenever I do my Fauci impression, it also causes me to cough. This just in. If you're thinking about imitating Fauci or Yoda, that will be a byproduct of that process. Next notable quotable. The missing ingredient for nearly all 1,000 plus clients that I have worked with directly to improve their businesses is pig-headed discipline and determination. We all get good ideas at seminars and from books, radio talk shows, and business building gurus. The problem is that most companies do not know how to identify and adapt the best ideas to their business. Implementation, not ideas, is the real key to success. I repeat, implementation, not ideas, is the real key to success. So on today's show, we're going to walk you through more details related to how to overcome adversity and how to achieve massive success. But I just encourage you, if you're out there today, get yourself a calendar. Get yourself a to-do list. Block out time for the achievement of your goals, and you must have an agenda. And when you have that agenda, you have to follow up on those items over and over and over again. You know, right now, my son has a landscaping business that he's building. If you do a Google search right now, it's called Well Done Lawns, Tulsa. If you just do a search on Google for Well Done Lawns, Tulsa, you'll find it. And he's 16 years old, and every single time I talk to my son, every time I see him, I ask him about it. How many Google reviews are you getting? How many leads are you getting? Why? Because it's on the agenda, and that's what will drive the ultimate level of success for his company, is the implementation of what's on his agenda. So what's on his agenda? Well, on his business and his particular agenda, he has to gather objective Google reviews from happy customers. 2, he has to write the most original search engine content, which my team is doing with him. 3rd, he has to keep his online ads on. You know, those search engine ads, the AdWords is what Google calls it, the AdWords. Then he has to run the retargeting ads. That's the ads that follow you around the internet. Then he needs to get before and after photos of the lawns that he's servicing. And then he needs to get video testimonials from happy customers. And if he does that over and over and over again, he will then achieve his goals. You see, inspiration is the reward. Inspiration is not the feeling you have to have before you get started. Inspiration is the reward. And procrastination is the giant. And action is the sword. I repeat. This is a big thing. This is a big idea. Inspiration is the reward. Inaction is the giant. And action is your sword. So if you're out there today and you want to feel inspired, you have to get out there and do what is required. And that may require you to come to one of our in-person Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops. That may be the best thing for you right now. You may need to schedule one-on-one business coaching. You know, our average client is with us for 6 years or longer. At the time of this recording, we do charge $1,700 a month to coach a business, and we only take on 160 clients at a time. So we do charge $1,700 per month. We operate at a 20% profit margin. So if you're out there, you can do the math. But the point is, you know, our average client is with us for 6 years. So someone says, well, why do you make your program month to month then? Well, it's for my sanity. I don't want to work with people on a weekly basis that are unwilling to implement the proven systems and processes that will produce success. But if you're out there today and you're a diligent doer and you want to implement your ideas and to achieve massive success, go to thrivetimeshow.com, book a ticket to one of our 2-day interactive business workshops. I've been doing those things since 2005. 18 years we've been doing these things. So get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can always, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. So the event should be affordable for you to attend. We cap the attendance at around 100 people, so it's very interactive. And it's a 2-day interactive business workshop where we cover branding, accounting, marketing, legal, sales, leadership, management, everything you need to know to grow a successful company. We teach that. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com or schedule that one-on-one consultation. I'd love to hear from you. And again, on part 2 of today's show, we're doing more of a deep dive into how to overcome adversity and distractions en route to achieving your ultimate success.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show. 3, 2, 1, boom!
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to another special exclusive podcast edition of the Thrive Time Show. Now, Eric Chupp, people are just beginning to discover, I'm getting worried because people are starting to discover in droves that if they can email us to info@thrivetimeshow.com, and we'll actually answer it right here on the podcast edition of the Thrive Time Show. Because when we do a radio show, we only have, a 2-hour format that we have to kind of stick within. But on the podcast, we have an infinite amount of time.
We can stay here for 37 hours in a row if we wanted to.
Or until I need to go have breakfast with my kids.
Okay, that'll be here in a little while.
So we have about 15 minutes
there we go.
to do whatever we want to do. So
Which is the beauty of a podcast. We can do it.
We have as much time as we want and for the next 14 minutes. Okay, so here is the question from a Thriver. It's how to deal with stress and how do you overcome adversity? All right, so let's go ahead and Chup. I'm going to break it down.
All right, let's do
and as
it.
I break down the steps, if you could put them on the show notes, I want to make sure. Then we'll kind of break them down together here.
I'll do it.
Step number 1, write down the worst case scenario. You just, whatever you're stressed out about, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's you're worried about, getting the wrong house. Hypothetically, maybe you have to buy a house in like 5 days because if you don't, you can't possibly close before your wedding. That could
stressful
be
situation.
I know that's not a situation that anybody on the other side of that camera or the microphone could be relating to. Perhaps you are really, really worried about a relationship issue. Perhaps you're worried about
Your business.
Your business.
Oh, that could be one thing.
Bankruptcy.
Yes.
Perhaps you're worried about your mother-in-law visiting.
That's a thing.
Perhaps you're worried about anything. So step 1, though, you write down the worst case scenario. Whatever it is that you fear the most, just go ahead and write it down. Then step 2, this is my second step. Embrace that the worst possible thing is going to happen. Just say to yourself, this really, really terrible thing, I'm not going to find a house in the next 5 days. And then just say, I need to buy a house because I'm going to get married, hypothetically, in, 30 days or so. And the house I was supposed to buy, it didn't actually come through because of some weird, there's always weirdness on real estate deals.
Yeah, there's like some appraisal things maybe were
Things could happen. If anybody's ever bought a house, inspections don't pass, whatever.
Right.
So you're saying to yourself, I want it to happen. But let's just go ahead. Step 1, write down the worst case scenario. What happens if you can't close? Step number 2, embrace that it is going to not happen. Embrace that the worst thing is that you're not going to get the house. Embrace that you're not going to get the house. You're not going to get the job. You're not going to get the deal. You're not going to get the whatever it is that you want. Step 3, believe and embrace that God has a plan. And if you do your best, forget the rest. So just embrace that if you have done the best, then you can forget the rest. You just do. I'm not talking about kind of your best or close to your best or I did my best and you didn't do your best. I'm talking about you do everything possible in the natural and then let God do what he wants to do in the supernatural. But don't get that mixed up. Don't feel bad if it doesn't work and you did your best, but don't put a half-ass amount of effort into something and then hope that God is going to help you, because there's all sorts of scripture. We'll put it on the show notes, but Proverbs 10:4 says, that God blesses the diligent. I see a lot of negligent people who are wanting blessings. So you have to do your best, but then you just forget the rest. You say, you know what? So if it doesn't happen, so as an example and I want Chup to break these down, but this is just an example from my life. I remember I wanted to get into the Dallas Bridal Show. It was called I think it was called DallasBridalShow.com. I wanted to get in that show, and I wanted to get into the Tulsa Wedding Show. I wanted to get in there.
You did.
Specifically, that Tulsa Wedding Show was my first one I wanted. I wanted it so bad. I could smell the victory. Because if you go to the bridal show, all the brides, not all the brides, but 2/3 of the brides who are getting married will typically go to a bridal show to find their DJ, their photographer, their limo, the catering, all that stuff.
It's a wild scene.
And so you show up at a hotel, and it's lined with booths and booths. It's a big trade show. Each booth is 10 by 10. There's all sorts of pipe and drape and skirting and all that. And I had attended it before, wanting to get in it, but I was told I couldn't get in it because they had another DJ. And you couldn't get in because there was already like 5 disc jockeys. There's already 5 photographers. So, Chuck, you had a maximum amount of vendors per category. That was the rule. You had a maximum number of vendors. You had like 5 per category. That's all you're allowed to have.
Right.
You couldn't have 10. And so I remember talking to the person who'd put on the show, the advertiser, and I said, I want to buy a booth. And Chuck, she says, you can't buy a booth. We'll get back with you.
You know
and
what
I kept hearing we're going to get back with you.
You know what that means.
We're gonna try to. We'll see. But Clay, we can't have more than 5 of a particular category. You just can't do it. We just can't do it.
Can't do it.
We can't.
Nothing you can do.
We'd like to do it. I'd say we'll call you back.
We'd love to do it.
And I'm not bitter about it. But I do remember. So I remember saying, okay, so I can't get it. What do I need to do? I mean, how could I possibly get in? She says, well, you call the other DJs, and if they'll let you in. So like a blind, naive idiot, I did call the competitors. And all were like,
numb and dumb, right?
And they're like, well, it's not really up to our control. But and again, it's passive aggressiveness. The point is they were blocking me out of the show because I was a up-and-coming DJ who at the age of 20 was the Entrepreneur of the Year for the city of Tulsa. And these 40-year-old guys are losing market share.
Right.
So I thought, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to my buddy Lori Montag. And I got a plan. So I go talk to Lori Montag, and she owns a company called Montag Photography. And she had a prominent booth at the show. And I'd made a plan. I typed it up on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. It was probably, 10-step plan, something like that. Knowing myself and what I would have done back in the day, it would have been very detailed. And I said, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to rent out the Renaissance Hotel. I'm going to rent out the Renaissance Hotel. And I'm going to have my own wedding show there. She said, well, what vendors are going to be there? And I said, you, me, us, them. We're all going to have a show. And she says, how are we going to pay for the show? I said, well, it's about, $600 to rent a booth at the other show. She says, no, it's about $800 to rent a booth. I said, it's like $725 plus all the fees, $800 to rent a booth at the other show. We're going to do a show for the vendors that can't get into that show. And we're going to do that thing for $500 a piece. And she says, honey, that's like $20,000. And Lori Montag just has she built the Zany Bands and the Slap Watch franchise. She sold $60 million of the Zany Bands and the Slap Watch. You should look that up. The Slap Watch was featured on The View with Barbara Walters. Barbara Wawa. And so she has been featured on that. She's been featured on Ellen. I mean, but this is before that massive success. She'd had a very successful photography company at the time. And she said, are you all in? And I said, oh, I'm all in. I'm going to burn the boats, baby. I got to do it. So she says, I'm in. So I used my Discover card. It pays to Discover. And I paid a deposit at the Renaissance Hotel to rent out not just a small ballroom. I'm talking about the big kahuna.
The big dog.
I'm out like maybe $20,000 if I can't fill it up. Oof. Then I cold call. I cold called the Meadowbrook Country Club. And I remember a lady who worked there. Her name was, I think it was Libby or something, Libby. I said, hey, here's the deal. And by the way, if you're listening, Libby, no hate. Just reminding. I'm not hateful. I'm not bitter. I just want you to know that I remember it. So I went to, how's it going, by the way, Libby? So I decided to go out there and I called her and said, hey, we're doing a bridal show and I'd like to have you in it. It's going to be, it's going to feature the Renaissance Hotel. It's going to feature Lori Montag and myself and other vendors. She says, we're not interested. Okay. I called the Golf Club of Oklahoma. And I'm not bitter. I'm just remembering. I'm just, ever since I can remember this. So I reached out, and Kitty with the Golf Club of Oklahoma.
So not Libby. This was Kitty.
She says, yeah, we'll do it. How many other vendors are there? I said, well, it's a startup show. We've got commitments from many people, including the Renaissance Hotel.
And you
Lori
meant like
Montag,
tiny
myself.
people, not like multiple people.
Yeah,
like
tiny, small people.
Mini, tiny people.
And so she said, well, we'll do it for trade out. I mean, we don't have the budget to do a startup show. I said, sure. Cold call another company. I remember all this. I cold called the Embassy Suites and Linda Wall. And I'm not bitter. I just remember who was for and who was against. I don't, anyway. So Linda Wall, she says, well, she's from Minnesota. She, how many other vendors are going to be there? And I said, well, we'll probably have, it's huge. It's the Grand Ballroom. Oh, really? Who all is going to be there? I said, well, you have the DJ Connection, You have Lori Montag Photography, You got the Renaissance Hotel. I mean, you've got the Golf Club of Oklahoma. I mean, there's just too many for me to remember.
Yeah,
she says, I'm in. I said, oh, don't you know? Yes, Lori, we sold a real booth. And I kept selling. And I kept making the minimum payments as we got closer to the show. Then I had to buy $18,000 of ads on Channel 8.
Oh, boy.
And I bought $18,000 of ads to promote the wedding show. So I'm buying my ads. Lauren was my advertisement rep. And she sold the ads to me. And then I was on that show in the morning, just promoting that thing, hyping it up, telling people how big it's going to be, buying ads, cranking up the ads, just selling booths. And I'm on the phone, just dialing, just boom, 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 boom. And I'm not exaggerating. I would probably make 150 calls a day myself, just calling all the vendors. If they ever put me to voicemail, I'd hit 0 and go, I'm sorry, I guess I got mistransferred, misconnected. I'm waiting on hold, just closing deals. So it's like 2 weeks before the show. We got Galaxy Limo. We got Embassy Suites. We got Renaissance in there. We've got the Golf Club Oklahoma. We got Montag Photography. We got everybody in there. And I cleared a profit of about $5,000 to $6,000 on the first show.
Nice.
But let me tell you what DJs were not allowed into the bridal show.
Those guys.
Infinity couldn't get a booth. No, Zach couldn't get a booth. No, he couldn't get a booth. Powerhouse couldn't get a booth. The Wave couldn't get a booth.
So Wave, bye-bye.
And where would you rather have a bridal show at? Would you rather have it at the old school Doubletree Hotel, or would you rather be at the brand new Renaissance Hotel?
Duh.
And so not only did we put a dent in the other guys, we took a big, large bite. Hard. And so, but the entire time, I wrote down the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, I'm going to have to pay massive interest on my credit card. I didn't set it up where I would go homeless. I would just have to have massive interest payments on a card that I'd probably take me a year or two to pay off. Second, I embraced that, hey, it's going to happen. I'm not going to sell it out. If it doesn't, I've already decided mentally, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with the pain mentally of not having it happen. I've already said it's not going to happen, so how would I feel? That's why when my dad died, it wasn't that dramatic for me because I actually experienced it mentally before. I just said, when my dad dies of ALS, how will that feel? And I actually remember taking a significant portion of a day to mourn for my dad and think about what that would be like, and then I moved on. But you have to embrace the worst thing. Then third, you got to believe and embrace that God has a plan, and if you do your best, then you can forget the rest. Because if his plan is for it to happen, who can come against God's plan, right? I mean, if God wants it to happen, who is strong enough to outwit God's plan? If it's not meant to happen, who can, if it is meant to happen, who can stop it? There's things in my life where I'm like, people have said it's not going to happen. I'm like, I just feel called to do it. And then it happens. So that is my philosophy. That's my system. That's how I would do it. And Chup, I'd like to have you break down each one of these steps. So step one, write down the worst case scenario. How have you seen that play out with the clients that you coach as a business coach, where they have a horrible stressor, a big adversity, a big source of anxiety?
Yeah.
How have you seen them embrace the worst case scenario?
Well, and what this does for you is it's kind of a cathartic release, right? You're actually putting it down on paper. You're spending time thinking about what is the worst that could happen, because a lot of times it's just kind of a vague, ambiguous, negative, looming feeling, right? Oh,
right.
This is going to happen. Okay, well, let's break it down to the details. Okay, so you don't get the big job that you're hoping to get.
You don't get the big job.
Okay, then what? Well, then you'll just have to bid some more and get some other jobs, right? You'll just have to make some more calls. So when you actually break it down to that tiny last, what is going to happen there? What is going to happen? Write down that worst case scenario, and you think about it, you're being more proactive, and that just helps your brain.
And even for extreme cases of bankruptcy,
Yeah.
as an example, think about this, Thrive Nation. How many times did Walt Disney lose everything?
None. Zero.
How many times did Walt Disney, the great Walt Disney, how many times did he lose everything? Twice.
Ugh.
What about Henry Ford? 5 times. Henry Ford lost it all 5 times. Do you understand? Think about this. Think about this. Do you know that Jeff Bezos, Amazon, the everything store, do you know that when he started the company did not turn a profit for 9 years?
Yeah.
9.
Wait, are you saying none? Or
9.
Does that mean zero in
Think
German?
about that. Think about that, though. For 9, how many of you could withstand not making a profit for 9 years? Then here's the deal. In order to become profitable, do you know what he had to do?
What?
He had to lay off 1,300 employees.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of families. It's a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
It's a lot of feeling bad, Well, what about Elon Musk, Tesla? That guy's a genius, right? It took him 10 years to make Tesla profitable. Well, what about ESPN, though? ESPN, ESPN. ESPN. I bet you that they made profit real fast. Like after 13 years, what about FedEx?
Go back to Elon Musk for a minute. We're talking about this. What's the worst case scenario? The guy has built a rocket company.
Yes.
You see the videos online. What's the worst case scenario? The rocket blows up. We watched it happen,
but before
he keeps going.
But before he built that, he built PayPal.
Right.
And PayPal, guess what happened with PayPal?
Didn't work
They had an error in the code, and every time that you did a transaction, it caused them to lose money, and it was scaling.
That's a system you want to scale.
So it's like, we're screwed. I mean, so again, I'm just saying that there's nobody who has avoided some kind of adversity. So if it's something as serious as losing a loved one or a spouse or a house, then what you have to do is you have to, step one, write down the worst case scenario. Okay, so we're going to be living at the Thrive office. We don't get this house, we're living at the Thrive office. Okay, we're going to do a month-to-month apartment at the Vintage on Yale. We're going to pay a premium for 1 month to live in a place. Right. All of our crap's going to stay in storage, and and if you're newly married, you don't even need furniture.
You just need a blanket.
Because
that's it.
you as the man can serve as the bed.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so step two, embrace the worst thing is going to happen. You have to just say it's going to happen. Now, third, again, if you don't believe in the same religious views that I do, that's fine. But you have to believe and embrace that if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. But you have to do your best. I see so many people going, "Dear Jesus, dear sweet baby Jesus." Why do you always pray to the baby Jesus? I don't know. I prefer to pray to a baby Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus, is there any way you can help me get a job? I want my podcast to be successful. I want my business to make a profit. I want to sell more mattresses. I want to have a better marriage. I want to get in better shape. Please help me. But you got to do something.
Yes.
You got to do something. You got to do the very, very best. And if you missed the Michael Levine podcast, holy crap, you need to listen to that because he wages war on the idea of the 40-hour work week.
Mediocrity.
If you want to be mediocre, go ahead and sign up for the 40-hour work week. But if you want to dominate and you want to create like the creator, you better be working 6 days a week, Home Skillet. You better be grinding because if you're not grinding, you're going to lose. And then don't tell me that you did your best. Don't tell yourself you did the best because you're going to have a cognitive dissonance in your head because you're going to know that you didn't actually do your best. And that's a freaking problem, Chubb.
That is a problem. And one thing I see, I love this quote, do your best and forget the rest. A lot of people I see have it backwards. They have an issue and they just they get paralyzed by paralysis by analysis, right? They just sit there and they rest and hope for the best. But like Clay just said, you have to take action. And one action step you can take that I see a lot of people that are stressed out, they're not managing their time. Right? They're reactive to everything. And so everything seems like a burning fire. So the first thing, a couple little steps you can do is get a calendar. Get on Google Calendar. Just find some calendar that you can use and time block out your time to actually sit down and do these things. Do the things that you need to do in your business, in your life, those repetitive tasks. And if the thing you need to block out is to write down this worst case scenario and follow these steps, then do that. But you've got to take control of your time. If your time is just running around like crazy, you are going to feel like you're on fire every day.
So step 4, break down your big goal into small action steps. So the big thing, now that there's this big thing we have to do, the big thing I had to do is I had to cold call all of the vendors in Tulsa to get a yes or a no out of all of them.
Right.
So I had to, step 1, I had to write a script. Step 2, I had to block out time to call them. So the final step, step 5, is you want to block out time to do what matters. Block out time to do what matters. To quote Lee Cockrell, nothing gets done that's not scheduled. Nothing gets done that's not scheduled. Who's Lee Cockrell? Lee Cockrell was the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts, a man who used to manage 40,000 plus employees. And he said you got to block out time to do what matters. You absolutely must block out time for what matters. You got to put it into the calendar. So again, the question was how to deal with stress and how to overcome adversity. Step 1. Write down the worst case scenario. Step 2, embrace that is going to happen. Embrace that the worst thing is going to happen. Don't falsely believe it's not going to happen and say to yourself, well, it couldn't possibly happen. The fact that you're even scared about it's probably because it could happen.
Right.
So embrace that it could happen and just embrace that it might happen. All right. Third, believe and embrace that God has a plan. And if you do your best, then you can forget the rest. And on a very specific practical level, break down that big old elephant you're trying to eat into small Are you advocating eating elephants? Yeah. So rip off its ear, rip off the trunk, rip off the
whatever that
is. I know but you got to
rip it off in a bite-sized
Why
chunk.
are we talking about eating elephants? Why are we talking about eating like a cow? I mean, you want to eat one bite at a time. You're not going to eat the whole cow at one time, right? Unless you're a anaconda. Right? Unless you're an anaconda. I want to applaud you for getting onto this podcast. Too, it's freaky crazy.
Sending emails as an anaconda with no hands and fingers. That's just impressive.
The visual idea of an anaconda makes me nauseous.
Cringe.
So I'm sorry for going there visually, Thrivers. But again, break down your big goal into small action steps, unless you're an anaconda. And then step 5, block out time to do what matters. And without any further ado, I'm kind of done.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months. Or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, But that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. One month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Colaw with Colaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours, where he does these tours all across the country, where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. Critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy. Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant, and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down, because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company, or navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live. few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy with Tip Top Canine, and I'm the founder.
I'm Rachel Wimpy, and I am a co-founder.
So we've been running Tip Top for about the last 14 years, franchising for the last 3-4 years. So someone that'd be a good fit for Tip Top loves dogs, they're high energy, they want to be able to own their own job, but they don't want to worry about, that high failure rate. They want to do that like bowling with bumper lanes.
So you give us a call, reach out to us, we'll call you, and then we'll send you an FDD, look over that, read it, fall asleep to it, it's very boring, and then we'll book a discovery day, and you come and you can spend a day or two with us to make sure that you actually like it, make sure training dogs is something that you want to do.
So an FDD is a franchise disclosure document. It's a federally regulated document that goes into all the nitty-gritty details of what the franchise agreement entails.
So who would be a good fit to buy a Tip Top Canine would be somebody who loves dogs, who wants to work with dogs all day as their profession. You'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of fun, it's very rewarding. And who would not be a good fit is a cat person.
So the upfront cost for Tip Top is $43,000. And a lot of people say they're generating doctor money, but on our disclosure, the numbers are anywhere from over $1 million a year in dog training, what our Oklahoma City location did last year, to 35 grand a month.
To train and get trained by us for Tip Top Canine, to run your own Tip Top Canine, you would be with us for 6 weeks here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we've been married for 7 years.
8 years.
8 years. So if you're watching this video, you're like, hey, maybe I want to be a dog trainer. Hey, that one sounds super amazing. Go to our website, tiptopcanine.com, click on the yellow franchising tab, fill out the form, and Rachel and I will give you a call. Our Oklahoma City location last year, they did over $1 million. He's been running that shop for 3 years. Before, he was a youth pastor with 0 sales experience, 0 dog training experience before he ever met with us.
So just call us, come spend a day with us, spend a couple days with us, make sure you like training dogs, and own your own business.
Well, the biggest reason to buy a Tip Top Canine is so you own your own job and you own your own future, and you don't hate your life. You get an enjoyable job that brings a lot of income, but is really rewarding.
My name is Seth Flint, and I had originally heard about Tip Top Canine through my old pastors who I worked for. They trained their Great Pyrenees with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. They did a phenomenal job and became really good friends with Ryan and Rachel. I was working at a local church, and it was a great experience. I ended up leaving there and working with Ryan and Tip Top Canine. The biggest thing that I really enjoy about being self-employed is that I can create my own schedule. I have the ability to spend more time with my family, my wife and my daughter. So my very favorite thing about training dogs with Tip Top Canine is that I get to work with the people. Obviously, I love working with dogs, but it's just so rewarding to be able to train a dog that had serious issues, whether it's behavioral or whatever, and seeing a transformation, taking that dog home, and mom and dad are literally in tears because of how happy they are with the training. If somebody is interested, I'd say don't hesitate. Make sure you like dogs. Make sure that you enjoy working with people, because we're not just dog trainers. We are customer service people that help dogs, and so definitely don't hesitate. Just come in and ask questions. Ask all the questions you have.